Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be doing the August system test, so let's go ahead and get started. Today I have electronic horn strobes up. These are Simplex 4903 series devices. This particular one is a Simplex 4903-9236, so that's a 15 candela electronic horn strobe. Down here I have a Simplex 2099-9754. So this right here is a single action conventional pulse station. I made sure to match everything. So this is a 90s pulse station. You can tell by this older font. And then of course these are 90s horn strobes. All of these are on their own corresponding back box. I think it looks pretty professional, like something you might find in a real building. If we go into the Fire Museum, we have another 4903 series device. This is a strobe plate. It's a ceiling mounted strobe plate with a electronic horn on it. And then of course we have a 90s Simplex smoke. Going into the bathroom, we have a Simplex strobe. This is also on its sort of corresponding back box. It's just a regular wire mold box, but it actually fits really well on it, and I really like the way this looks. So this is a 4904-9137. It's a 15 candela remote strobe, and I think it actually looks pretty nice there. Up here, I still have a 2100 and the carbon monoxide speaker strobe. Nothing's really changed there. Up there, I have an i3. And then over here by the basement door, I have another 2099-9754. Again, this is a single action pulse station. And then finally, the last notification appliance at the end of the line, we have another 4903 horn strobe. This particular one is a 4903-9237, so it has a 30 candela strobe, but you can see this one's also on its corresponding back box. In the fire panel room, you can see I still have the RP2001. That's probably never going to change. Here I have a stopper 2, and then under the stopper 2 I have a Simplex 2099-9754, the exact same pulse station as all the rest. This one also has a trim plate that I put on. I think it actually looks really nice and pretty official. I think that the trim plates really add a bit of a realistic touch to them, especially when you flush mount. Technically, you're not really supposed to use the trim plates with the conventional pulse stations. The reason the trim plates are around, I'll open the pulse station really quick just to show. One moment. And quickly plug the button. Is the pulse station attaches to the trim plate with these 3 nuts over here. I only use 2. For this pulse station, I could just mount directly to a single gang box, but the older addressable pulse stations, which are MapNet, they have to have like a double gang box, but obviously you can't mount that to a single gang box, so you would have to use this trim plate as sort of an adapter, but that's why that exists. Anyways, up here I have a Simplex 4903 horn strobe again. This particular one is under a cage. The reason I put the cage here is because I just had the cage, but also this is sort of a shop, so there's like wood or other items that could hit it. Obviously there's a bunch of other unprotected items, but I just thought it would kind of match this place. Also, these horn strobes are not intended to mount on any 4x4 square box, contrary to popular belief. You must use them on a Simplex box if you're surface mounting like this, but in this case, because this acts kind of as a trim plate, it just protects it from those sharp edges, so that's nice. Out in the garage, I have another Simplex 2099-9754 and then a Simplex horn strobe. This is the exact same one I just showed. It's also under a cage because there are some tools and things here. Before I set off this system, I'd also just like to give some information. The last time I did a Simplex system test with the True Alerts, there were a bunch of people speculating as to why the devices didn't sound perfect. And no, the system does not output FWR. These are receiving filtered DC. The reason they sound kind of funky is just because when there's a bunch of them sounding in the same area, the pitches don't perfectly match up and it just sounds kind of scratchy. But you hear with this one, because it's alone in the garage and pretty far away from the others, it sounds normal. But let's pull it. 3, 2, 1. They really do sound kind of scratchy here, but if I get closer to one, you'll hear it. They don't sync, obviously. You can see this one also kind of sounds normal because it's alone in a room. Those are actually extremely loud. Yeah, that's that. So you can maybe tell why they sound kind of scratchy, because especially if you're in a neutral zone between two devices, the sounds kind of contrast with each other and make it sound like a bunch of different devices or scratchy harmony, but in reality they just sound different and they kind of do that to each other. Let's reset this pull station. Oh. I just set the system to March time, so we can go ahead and activate the system on that. Looks like I accidentally set the strobe on this one to March time and not the horn. Jeez, these are actually extremely noisy. A lot more than like modern horn strobes like the L series or whatever. It's always kind of funny to me when people say things like the Advance are loud, because like from a factual standpoint, they're just really not that loud in general. I mean, the things that are really loud are things like this or the True Alert or maybe that like wheel lock devices, but other than that, all the devices that have a reputation for being loud really are not that loud. Yeah, you can see I set the strobe circuit to March time, so these are all kind of spazzing out. You actually can't see that because the camera's not picking it up. But while we're out here, we may as well just set the alarms off. Actually, I don't have my keys. For the rest of these devices, I'm just going to use walk test, just because I don't want to keep setting off the system and just playing the exact same thing. So audible. All right, let's go ahead and grab the keys. Shut up. What's this one's problem? There it goes. Well, it looks like we have a deficiency here, but I guess that kind of makes sense because the way I ran wires here is I just buried some really thin security cable. But I guess it probably has a lot of different places there could have been an issue since I T-tapped a lot of stuff. It did offer a little bit of protection. I mean, obviously it wasn't to code or anything, but it did work. That heat detector was kind of here. There's a lot of scrap wood here from the wood shop, but honestly, I guess that's fine. Doesn't serve any life safety value. I'll deal with that hopefully in like a year or two when I get around to fixing that. It'll be fixed. But that's probably why nothing showed up on the fire panel, because it's all T-tapped. There's a wasp's nest right there, but I'm not gonna go anywhere near them. I think they're probably kind of grumpy today because it's wet. Serves them right. All right, now let's just test the carbon monoxide system, and then we can do our functional test, and then we'll be on our way till September.
Evacuate the building. Warning, carbon monoxide. Please evacuate the building.
All right, the fog machine is up and running, so let's go ahead and start it. I always like to put them in cardboard boxes just because it angles the smoke more up. So let's pretend a random box has just simultaneously, or not, spontaneously combusted in this room. All right, let's cook now. Most of the smoke went that way, so that's probably why it's not working very well. Oh, there it went. All right, there's that. That was actually pretty quick. I'm pretty surprised that this detector activated that quick, because when it activated, there wasn't even that much smoke there. I mean, still right now, there's not a whole lot close to the detector. Just for fun, why don't we turn on the emergency lights just to see how well it works in the smoke. So that's this cord. Lights off. I mean, it does something. You can kind of see the beams of the light. Yeah, that's not too bad. This room is a mess, so